were actually in a prison cell for 2 years together. We walked the yard together. We helped each other build together. We dreamed together. We used to read books. And then I got out, you got out, like right after. You could have got out and just did a regular thing and not really try to do anything beyond. But you're striving for greatness, right? How did you develop that confidence to do that? I feel like people really struggle with that.
Confidence is a tricky thing because you won't know confidence until you face with a situation to where you gotta have it. We are a herd, we are a community. We always go off the opinions of other people. You know, other people's opinions have more weight than our own self-beliefs sometimes. For example, to actually extricate myself from the criminal lifestyle, that was a big token of confidence. There's an identity crisis brewing within inside because you develop this identity of this is who I am, but then your true self starts to grow and you like, I like this true self, but socially, will I still be accepted? I think once I made the transition inside to actually change my life, I think that's where the confidence started brewing from, to live within inside and not let external factors have a bearing on what decisions I make and decisions I don't make.
You are never stuck, only standing at the edge of who you've been and who you're still capable of becoming.
You have never stuck.
Only standing at the edge of who you've been and who you're still capable of becoming.
I think that's like saying, like, basically, you know, you more always in an internal battle with self, trying to reach highest level of self, but also like fighting the internal narratives that you developed over a course of whatever trauma you went through. And it's like that battle, trying to reach your highest potential. So that's what I got from that.
What does that look like for you? Like, who is Travon 2.0, the highest potential? Like, what does that look? Who does that look like? Not just, you know, what you have, but who you are, you know, how you feel. Like, who is that? Do you know, have you thought about that?
Yeah, I think it's being more compassionate and understanding of people, especially people in my inner circle in the world. Yeah. Because, you know, when you can step outside of yourself and empathize with other people and try to, you know, find purpose through serving, you know, I think that's like a version of your higher self, when being selfless and, you know, developing better personal leadership skills and leading yourself based on the spiritual aspect of you. What I mean by that's like your conscience, you know, like anytime, you know, we do something wrong, no one has to tell us it's wrong. You know, our spirit, our conscience tell us that it's wrong. So, you know, always letting your conscience guide you and do the right thing.
Yeah. Nice. And then as far as like business, you know, your business, what does that look like?
Man, business is a lot of 0 for 10 someday, man. Some days it's like, man, I went 0 for 10 today, but business is about getting back up, getting off that canvas, man. It's tough because I get a lot of no's, but when I get that one yes, it's amazing, man. Because long story short, I met a property manager in a lot. I was going door to door trying to get some clients to clean windows. So happened the property manager was in the parking lot and he saw me. He saw my truck. He's like, oh, you power wash? I'm like, yeah. And so he's like, is this your company? I'm like, yeah. So we talked it out and we brokered a deal. We did I serviced one of his properties and he liked it and he invited me back for more property. So, I mean, that day it was bad. It was 0 for 10. You know, I was batting 0. So I just got one hit. I bat 100 and it worked out, you know.
How do you keep on getting back up when you're getting no's and you're getting denied? And I mean, and I'll make it all make sense to the listener, like how I connect it all in. But I'm just so interested in like, how do you get back up when you're getting the door slammed on your face, basically?
I mean, I think it comes from our upbringing, you know. It's something to do with the ego, you know, like nah, I ain't going out like that, you know, like as far as like I ain't turning nothing down, like never backing down from a challenge, you know. I look at business as a challenge, you know. I might fail, a large part of the time, but all I need to do is succeed one time. I just need one opportunity. And that's the difference. Like you might get 1,000 no's, but 1,001 might be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And so you started your own power washing company.
Correct.
It's expanded into now window cleaning services, and it's going to expand beyond even that. And you got out of prison, what, 3.5 years ago?
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
About 4 years ago, after serving 15 years?
On a life sentence, yes, sir.
On a life sentence. And so you spent pretty much most of your 20s, if not all, in prison.
All my 20s.
All your 20s in prison.
Right.
Like, where does that audacity come from to say that I'm going to get out of prison after having a life sentence after 15 years, all my 20s in there, and I'm going to get out and I'm going to start my own business, and not only just start a business, but like be successful in it. You just shared something with me. You have over 200,000 views within the past 30 days, right? And you're not a social media guy. You went out there and started creating content. You learned how to do it.
Right.
So how does that happen? Like, it's crazy.
I think just being naive. You just go into something willy-nilly, like, oh, let's see what happens, you know? And I think not letting fear stop you from accomplishing things, because, you know, fear kind of deters us. Because if I don't know something, I'm like, I don't want to fail. But you can't really look at failure and let failure, you know, scare you, because there's always a lesson, you know? So if you're getting out of prison and you don't have anything, I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, you've already failed, right?
Yeah.
You're at the bottom right now. Like, you got an opportunity, just make the best of it, you know? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. But where does that confidence come from to pursue that, right? Because, you know, we were actually in a prison cell for 2 years together. For those of you out there, like him and I spent 2 years in a prison cell together. We walked the yard together. We helped each other build together. We dreamed together. We used to read books, right? They were probably implementing stuff today from those books. I know I am.
Man, still.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And then I got out, you got out, like right after. But where does that confidence come? Where did it come from to stay? Because you could have got out and just did a regular thing and not really try to do anything beyond just mediocrity. But you're striving for greatness, right? That like I mentioned, the 2.0 version of yourself in every aspect. Like, how did you develop that confidence to do that? I feel like people really struggle with that.
Yeah, confidence is a tricky thing, because you won't know confidence until you face with a situation to where you got to have it. And so, like, to be a soldier is easy, right? So a general could tell you what to do, what position to go in, where to shoot from, where not to shoot from. But to become a leader of yourself, that's a whole different level. You know, developing personal leadership skills is very difficult. So, for example, you know, we are a herd, we are a community. So we always go off the opinions of other people. You know, other people's opinions have more weight than our own self-beliefs sometimes. So like, for example, to actually extricate myself from the criminal lifestyle, that was a big token of confidence to actually tell people, like, this ain't what I'm about to do no more in my life, you know? And so it's like, I remember the previous podcast, I said it's almost like equivalent to social suicide, because there's an identity crisis brewing within inside, because you develop this identity of this is who I am, but then your true self starts to grow, and you like, I like this true self, but socially, will I still be accepted? And I think once I made the transition inside to actually change my life, I think that's where the confidence started brewing from, to live within inside and not let external factors have a bearing on what decisions I make and what decisions I don't make.
Yeah, that's powerful. So where did you grow up, and how did you get your life sentence?
So I grew up in Los Angeles, on the west side of LA, the Baldwin Hills Village, aka the Jungles. And you know how it is, man. Growing up in them intense areas, we develop characteristics based on ideas and perceived notions of who I'm supposed to be and all this other stuff. But, you know, a lot of that stuff be, your identity of who is a man and what is a man. You know, it's not about, oh, I just want to be a bad person. It's just like, nah, this is what I got to do to become a man. And so, you know, as a young child, you know, your views are very skewed. You don't have a good comprehension of responsibility. You know, you got a problem taking out the trash every day. You got a problem doing your homework every day. So it's easy to fall astray when your immediate needs are not met. You know, like if you're hungry, you know, and someone tells you, go to school and get an education, how's that fixing my problem right now? I'm hungry. If I don't have any clothes and you telling me to go to school and get an education, how's that fixing my problem right now? So, I mean, you know, those are things that's easy to kind of like get you down the wrong path when your needs are not met at that moment, you know?
And so then that leads to selling drugs.
Selling drugs, whether it's robbery, whatever you think you got to do to survive. I mean,
what was your thing that you
my
did?
thing, I was into selling drugs, unfortunately, but it was almost like it seemed like at the time, that was the only way to support yourself because, you know, it was around a large volume of grown men that were doing it. So it didn't look weird. Yeah. Like, you be like, okay, like that's how we do it. We just hustling. Yeah. It's hustling. Yeah. So it's surviving. Yeah. But no one ever was like, well, if you get your high school diploma, you can go apply for the Department of Water and Power. You can get a career. They make X amount of dollars an hour and you get a pension. Like no one actually tells you these things, so you don't know about them, you know? Yeah. And, you know, come on, let's be honest. In the 90s, it was a totally different world. It was a whole lot of roadblocks put up for a certain group of people to not get these jobs or get these loans for this house and all that. So you know how we, you know.
Yeah, and you do what you had to do to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then so you were selling drugs in the gang life, right? You grew up in a gang-infested neighborhood. So it's like
join the gang.
You join a gang, so that's normal.
It's normal.
And then you ended up going to prison, right?
Man, I went to prison for, this is the craziest, just to say it out loud, it's crazy. Intimidating the witness by force or threat. And based on, I was a gang member, you know, I received a life sentence. It enhanced my time. So if I wasn't a gang member, the maximum sentence I would receive was 4 years. But based on I was a gang member, I got a life sentence. So a life sentence in California, if they don't give you a number behind it, they just say, okay, you got life, but we're going to give you 7 years to life.
Yeah. And you ended up doing 15 years before you could even get out.
Correct.
Yeah. And had you not did the work, you wouldn't have got out. Right? You would have still been in there like so many others.
Now. Yeah, right now.
It's crazy how like, I mean, like I've heard many stories in prison about people getting life sentences a lot and getting struck out.
Yeah.
You know, all these different things. And a lot of them are unjust too because people were struck out for minor crimes. But your situation just always stuck with me because I'm like, if you didn't grow up in that neighborhood where basically like becoming a gang member was like normal.
Right.
If you didn't come from there and you were in any other place, you know, like you got 4 years, you would have got 4 years max.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then, but just because you grew up in this area, right? And that there's reasons why you grew up there, right? It's because your mom probably could only afford that. Exactly. It was a community of people that were together, togetherness. Absolutely. So many different reasons. But because of that, you were penalized, right? And you were given a life sentence for like intimidating somebody.
Right. So I'll kick your ass.
Yeah. That's crazy. So, it's just I've heard some crazy shit, but your story always really resonates with me, man. And that's why like what I could say is that like as long as I've known you through the whole prison stint, everything, like you've always been the same. You never changed. Like it didn't embitter you. Yeah. It didn't make you like callous or cold. You always like were just this guy with this great energy and spirit that people love. And still the same person. I think that's incredible, man. Like I just can't even stress that enough, like how much that inspires. I know me and other people. Right. And so I guess it's like, how did you maintain that? Like, how did you not get bitter? How did you not get angry or, you know, make your situation worse?
Man, hey, my first prison was High Desert State Prison. And if
tell us about
the audience don't understand what High Desert is a prison that's located in Susanville, California. It's up close by Reno, Nevada. It's like 30 minutes away. Yeah. And snows. You're isolated. No, it's no visits and nothing. You're always on lockdown. We used to go on lockdown for like a year at a time. Just BS, right? So I think sitting in a cell all day, like, you are challenged mentally in a way that you would never be challenged. And I think, like, I found solace in reading. You know, I found comfort in educating myself of, social dilemmas. I felt educated and enlightened by learning, like, okay, why am I here? So once I started learning why I was here, I didn't really feel bad about myself. I'm like, oh no, this is a systemic problem. And not to say I wasn't a bad person, I didn't deserve to be there, but I learned about, just history. Once you start learning history, you start understanding why you made the mistakes you made, and you can, like, foster a better future, not to continue down that same path. So I started educating myself on things like that, and self-help books, like, digging deep within yourself to really face things that you need to correct, and, really challenging ideologies and beliefs you develop.
Yeah.
It's a tough journey, but when you sitting in a cell 24 hours a day, I mean, what else do you got to do?
Yeah. Who's one person in prison that, like, really had a big impact on your life? And it could be in a positive or negative way.
Right.
That, just one of those things you'd never forget. Maybe like that aha, life-changing moment, or a realization that, man, like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, is there anybody like that?
Yeah, it was this brother named Grant. At that time, I was probably like 3 years in. He had been down 38 years. This was like 2008. And he was an old guy. He, like, you look in his eyes, he didn't have no soul. Like, I hate to say it like that, but, like, he just stared at you with just blank stare. And he would talk about, being in prison. And he had 7 to life too, right? And
he'd been in there 38 years.
38 years. And he would just talk about prison, how it used to be. And he would show me pictures of how he used to look.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this might be me one day. So I always like, look, man, keep my glow, keep my soul in my eyes. When you look in my eyes, I don't never want nobody to see that I don't have a soul. Like, I always wanted to be like, the same person, despite aging, despite, time and distance away from people that you love. Like, so I used to always see him and talk to him. And unfortunately, I heard he died like 5 years later. And I was like, all right, so.
So it's not even anything he said. It was just him.
Yeah, it was just him.
And that was a learning lesson for you, like something that you never forgot, and you were like, I just don't want to be like that. And that's like, we're going back to, like, that fight, right? Like, in business and all the things you're doing now, the difficulties of building a business and all that, like, the fight was already in you way back then when you were like, I'm going to refuse to give up, even with a life sentence. And this is the time, by the way, nobody was getting out of prison through parole system at this time. So it's not like he had, like, this hope of, I'll get out in 7 years. Wasn't happening. Nah. It's like, so, but yet you was like, I'm not going to give up.
Nah, that's all I'm saying. It's that I ain't turning nothing down mentality. Like, I ain't going out. So, like, when it's the ego. Sometimes your ego could be used for a good thing to keep you afloat. The audacity of you, or a grandiose sense of yourself. Like, oh yeah, I'll figure this out. But it helped, man.
Yeah. Man, it's like crazy because nobody really, I feel like there's not many people that I can have a conversation with that truly understands, like, what we went through. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare. Like, I run into a lot of different people and that have been to prison as well, but it's different. We literally walked the same yards together. We were like in there, and now, like, we're out and we're all in a group chat and we share our wins and successes with each other. And it's so inspirational, and it's for everybody. And I think that one of the things that I've committed my life to, and as you know, is like helping the youth, right? Absolutely. In some way, if I could help them, what is your message, right, to the youth, right? Let's say a young person who may be getting into trouble or maybe starting to do things to lead them to prison. What would be your advice to them?
So it's different levels, right? You got dudes just 15, 16 years old. It's like nothing you could tell them. So like, I was one of those 15, 16-year-olds. Like, it was like, man, look, I don't want to hear none of that. At that time, I already developed on who I was going to be and what I was going to do. So the only thing I would really tell them is to, you know, stay true to their beliefs right now, because it's going to change. And if you can stay true to your beliefs and develop personal leadership at that time where, you know, you're not just a crash dummy, somebody telling you what to do and how to do, but you can actually think outside of the system you believe in, you know, I think that'll translate. And as he gets older or she gets older, they'll start to change, because one thing about, you know, the brain, it develops. And one day you might wake up and be like, this shit don't make no sense. It might just dawn on you, you know? So if you can lead yourself right now outside of a system, then eventually, you know, you will start to change, and you will become a better person because you develop personal leadership skills. Yeah,
that's so true. And then, like you said, like it's like at 15, 16, you may not want to hear anything, but if we, like as adults now, are kind of just dropping jewels, right, planting seeds,
you're gonna remember.
Maybe later when you, like you said, they have that moment, they remember that. You know what I mean? And they draw toward that. Like they're like, okay, I remember that guy who told me this. And I also remember that he was in my situation.
Right.
Man, I can draw strength through him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, even if those of you out there that are working with kids, even if it may seem like they're not listening, still do it. You gotta put the effort in, right?
Just do it.
Yeah.
But just don't hit them with the corny, go to school, get an education. Like if you're gonna tell them that, right? Tell them why. This is why you should. Boom, but just don't say it, because that's cliche. You hear that 1,000 times a day, and it's like, how is that serving me now?
Yeah.
How is that feeding me? I'm hungry. You know, some people go to school hungry. How could they concentrate? You know what I'm saying? Some people don't live in a stable home, so they don't really sleep that well. So when they go to school, they got their head down at the desk. You're like, why does dude always sleeping in class?
Wear a hoodie on, or
wear a hoodie, So it's like, people don't ask the questions why, but they just point out the deficiency. Like, really try to get to know what's going on first, you know?
Yeah. And you saw a lot of horrific things in prison. You saw, I mean, it comes with, I already know.
It comes with the life.
Like what did that do to you? Did it make you callous? Like, how did you respond to that when you were in prison? And how has that affected you today, if it has?
I think in prison, you compartmentalize. I think you understand, like, for example, you might see somebody lose their life, but in that moment, I mean, that's not something you could dwell on. You got to pack that up, put it in the back of your brain, and continue your normal routine, you know? But it's not to say you're a bad person, but it's like the adaptation of the brain to survive, you know, to tell yourself like, all right, just don't do that. And people might see it as callous, but it's really a survival tool. You know, you can't really get too emotional in prison. You can't. And what I mean by emotional, I'm talking about just depressed. You know, like if you get too depressed in prison, man, that can be your end. Because when you get depressed, you start making decisions that operates outside of the system of prison. So, for example, you might get depressed and you might start staying in a cell. So now the gang like, bro, why you not on the yard? Like, all hands on deck. What are you doing standing in the cell? So they don't know you going through depression, but they feel like you not being a soldier. So you might get an issue and get removed off a yard because you depressed. Or you went into a drug addiction because you can't deal with what's going on in your reality. So I think you gotta, you gotta stay.
Yeah, you don't have time to be depressed.
No, you don't.
Yeah, because you have to maintain this character, this moniker, this image, right? So like you gotta compartmentalize and be like, I'm gonna show up. Even though I'm going through something, I'm gonna be out there on the yard. I'm gonna show up. Yeah.
That's deep, bro.
It is.
That's deep, bro.
So what is that, like, has it affected you now that you've been out? Do you see any remnants of like anything from that, like in your everyday interactions and lifestyle now?
Yeah, because it's hard for me to relate to people. I swear, man. I'll be like, what? Like, people be complaining to me, and I'll be like, man, this is crazy. I listen.
What are some of the things they complain about? Like, give us an example.
Man, all right. People complain about their bosses, right? I'd be like, man, I was in prison with this prison guard named Goliath. This dude
So I know
was a
Goliath.
maniac. Like this CO
He was a
like,
psychopath.
Yeah, he was a psychopath.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have had that job. But anyway, if I had to deal with him 8 hours every day, sometimes 16 hours because he'll work a double. I mean, a boss. Like, man, come on, man.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So that's why my comparisons are so extreme to everyday life. It's like I can't really. I'd be like, I listen, I understand, but I'd be like, I don't agree.
They say that the two main reasons why people go back to prison is either they get back into drugs or alcoholism or domestic violence. Yep. And one of the big things that I feel people struggle with is after prison, like how to have a healthy relationship with a woman. So, like you said, you're hard to it's hard for you to connect with people because the way you measure challenges and depression and all that is so different with regular people, right?
Right.
But like, how about like with a partner? How do you like get out and after so many years in prison and have a successful relationship with a woman who never was like involved in that? Like, how do you think that is? And we've had this conversation about this. We talk about this all the time, but off camera. But it's so powerful because I see it, I go through stuff, and I'm like, how do you navigate that?
I think you got to be emotionally mature. And I think a lot of times people go to jail so young, they're never able to develop emotionally. You know what I mean? So like, you went to jail at 19 and you get out at 35, but emotionally you haven't went through what the average man went through with a woman. Like at 19 years old, you might would have been with a woman for 10 years and y'all break up, but you learn through trial and error how to manage emotions and how to deal with it. So at 35, you didn't experience that. So you like, I'm supposed to do that? Oh, I didn't know. Like, you know what I mean? So I think
that's true.
Maintaining a relationship is like, you got to be almost like a mind reader, especially with women. You got to know like, okay, she probably says this, but she really means this. So it's a lot of guessing. Yeah. It's a lot of anticipating. It's a lot of like always like on your toes. Like, like I told you this a month ago. You'd be like, oh man, I forgot. You know what I mean? Like,
I remember those days in prison when I'd be like, man, I just wish I had a woman, like still, and it's like just to touch and hug and talk to. And
for sure.
And it's like, I never lost that, right? So like now, like in my relationship, it's so great and it's such a gift. And I feel blessed every day I get to like wake up in this beautiful bed. It's like softer than anything I've ever laid in my life.
Right.
But then like there's moments when it's a struggle because like I still have some of those old ways, meaning anything that I ever did, I like gave 110%.
Man,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like anything.
I'm all in.
You're all in. And so my work and my goals are so like, I'm so all in.
Right.
That like, that's all I think about. That's when mostly everything I think about, I focus toward that. I'm planning toward that.
Yeah.
We're traveling somewhere and it's work related. You know what I mean? And it's like, then you have this other human being who lived a life. They worked for many, many years. They went to college, pursued their dreams, and but like we're like just starting in a way.
Right.
So it's like you're kind of like all in, going 100%, 110%, and they're like kind of, it's time to kind of chill and relax and let's kick back. And it's hard, man. And so that's like and luckily, I've been blessed to have somebody who's understanding to that. But the average people struggle with that, man. And so do you like? I know, in you, do you feel like you can be like successful in terms of how we want to be successful and still have a relationship that's healthy, or do you think it's like it's one or the other?
That's a challenge, bro. Because it's so much time that you got to put into a relationship, and it's so much like catering. It's so much, but it's unnecessary though, because you're responsible for somebody else's happiness partially, right? So, it's a balancing act. That I think that you know, a man should mature first. You should have a clear understanding of what you want on a life and what you want in a partner. So like you gotta just be able to identify deal breakers like, oh no, that's out. Like you don't waste 3 years of your life and you like, well, it might work. Nah, you just gotta know. Like you gotta go in something with a clear understanding.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is what I don't like, this is what I like. And I'm not saying like to be like hold yourself on high. I'm saying like cater your standards to you, and then also make sure that you are the right person for the next person too, you know? So like, could she handle your ambition?
Yeah.
You know, could she handle you being, you know, on the road doing what you're doing, like on your consulting company? Can she partner with you on that, you know?
Yeah.
So if she can't do that, you shouldn't do it for her because you're not gonna, you get what I mean?
It has to be like I say it's you have to be in harmony with the work in your relationship. Has to all intertwine. That's the only way it works. I think when you're driven, it has to be all in harmony. But it's interesting. Yeah. What did you have to do to get out of prison? Like what did it was? I know like it was such a man. It was years and years in the making to get to that point where you can then get released because you had a life sentence.
Right.
So you had to go in front of a committee. And they made the decision whether you're free or not. Like, what did you have to do to make that happen?
So let me just describe this process to you. So first of all, you got to get to know yourself, right? And once you understand, you know, traumas, once you understand, you know, your maladaptive circumstances, you can really just go into this committee of potentially 3. You have your commissioner, you have your deputy commissioner, and it's a DA. And you're sitting at a table like this, and you're face to face with people that don't have your best intentions. Like they don't want to know what happened to you. They just want a reason to keep you in there. So it's like you got to know all the tricks, all the trades to actually talk. Because a regular conversation and talking to the commissioner from the parole board hearing is not. They want you to be like a psychologist. They want you to understand, like, you know, nexuses and like, okay, what's the nexus to this crime? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? So like, it's always trying to trip you up. Yeah. And if you're not real versed into like understanding you won't make it. Yeah. Because I sat in a commissioner board hearing for 4 hours. 4 hours. Man, I had to ask for a break. I'm like, hey, can I get a break? My mouth was dry. I was talking so much. 4 hours. 4 hours, bro.
And the whole time they're trying to trip you up.
The whole
and
time.
Like look for a gap to say you're not denied.
And it's so crazy. Once you change, like there is no tripping you up because you are who you are. Yeah. And they were so frustrated that I was consistent that he'd say, oh, like he'd ask me a question and I'm like, oh, I told you. I said, what do you? He'd say, oh, you're right. Sorry. But what about this? You know, it was more adversarial than trying to really ensure public safety. You know, it was me versus them, and not us trying to make sure that you are suitable to enter society and be a productive citizen.
And what was? I mean, because you went in, they denied you for what, 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay, then second time you got out.
Yeah.
When they denied you, what was the reason for them denying you, and how did you take that? Because that's hard. I see guys. We used to see guys on the yard, right? They go in there, they get denied, and they just come back. Some of them come back with their heads down. Yeah, they're defeated, and some come back. Maybe it's they're putting on the show, right? But like, oh man, I'll get them next time, or I'll. Like, how did that affect you? Because I remember, man, seeing that, and I'd be like, I feel like so bad for those guys that were just like worked so hard and they got denied. How'd you bounce back from that?
I know this is gonna sound too cocky, but I knew I beat him. Even though they denied me, I knew I beat him because he was so frustrated. And after he denied me, he felt so bad that he came back to the holding tank to talk to me. Because, you know, like I say, your conscience moves you. Like when you basically, I was denied before I even went in there. It was just all formality. So I wasn't gonna get out no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how good
Because they were
I did.
judging you off of what?
Basically, they were judging me off my past history in prison.
Yeah.
So basically, within the last 2-3 years, I had started converting to a better person. And so they say, well, you have all this violence, you have all this other stuff. We can't let you out. But I had to sit down and actually talk to him about that stuff. And he was so frustrated. I'll never forget, I was talking to the deputy commissioner. And she was asking me these line of questions. And I'm just, it's a test. So I'm just basically acing the test. And he was so frustrated. He said, man, you understand all this stuff, man. I keep seeing all this stupid stuff on the computer. He interrupted her and he looked at her. He said, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. So basically he knew he had to deny me, even though I was suitable for parole.
Yeah.
So it's a flaw in the system, but it's the way it go.
Yeah. Do you think that prisons changed a lot for the better?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like now I'll be talking to some of the fellas and I'll be like, that's going on?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
All kind of programs.
Yeah.
All kind of,
man, I said, man, we was in the inception of it. You got to remember, like, when we were there, that was the beginning stages of the testing when they were like, okay. And they were still like hard on crime, so we had it hard. So now I be listening to dudes, I'm like, how long were you in there? They be like, I was only in there for an hour. I'm like, they only talk to you for 1 hour? He like, yeah. I'm like, good. Yeah. Man. That's a blessing. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. It's crazy every time I think about it. So you got out 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
What was your plan? And like going back, look at when you first got out and where you're at now.
Yeah.
Could you have pictured it? I mean, envisioned where you're at now? And also, what are some of the biggest challenges you face getting out?
I think, okay, to answer the first part was like, no, I couldn't envision it because I didn't know nothing about the world.
Yeah.
Like when I came, I didn't even understand emails. Like emails is like your digital footprint, your fingerprint. So without an email, you can't do nothing. So I start learning, emails, the importance of keeping the same address, phone number, passcodes, like for these smartphones. Like, so I didn't Google Maps, like, so I was just learning the world, just operating on you know what I mean? So once I developed a short-term plan was, okay, the first thing I wanted to do was get my credit right. Yeah. I wanted to establish a line of credit. So I went and got a prepaid credit card. I got a job. And whenever I need to pay for something, I use my prepaid credit card and took the cash, paid it right back.
Built your credit up.
Yeah, built my credit, right? Yeah. So once I did that, I said, okay, I need to get better cash flow. I was working at a warehouse at FedEx, something like that. So I said, okay, I need to get a better job. So I went to trucking school, got my truck driver's license, and started driving trucks. So that increased my weekly revenue by like 50%, probably more. And so once I had the cash flow to do other things, I started doing other things. Yeah. And so like, then I started saving money and, here it is. For the last 12 months, I've been in business. Yeah. And, so 3 years with a job and 12, I just quit my job, I want to say like 3 months ago. Yeah. Just walked away.
Congratulations. I remember, man, it's crazy because we all saw like, and we're part of that, like seeing your process. Yeah. You were very meticulous and strategic in everything you did. Right. Like you're like, oh, I'm not, we used to be telling you like, man, just quit your job, go on. You'd be like, well, not yet. I'm waiting to, so I can get this, credit so that I can get this loan and buy this equipment. Right. It's like, it was so like strategically like designed and to go into, man. That's like, how do you learn that like without going to like business school or how you didn't have like a mentor to walk you through the process? Yeah. How'd you figure it all out?
I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but I used to be in the street selling drugs. So even as a teenager, I knew how to, I knew marketing just on a different level. I knew cash flow just on a different level. I knew it, but I just didn't know I knew it. So for example, remember that business card I showed you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my business card I got in 2002, bro. I was 17 years old.
Selling drugs.
But I never put my name on a business card, right?
But that's crazy, like how like you saw that as like, okay, if I get this business card, then it's like, okay, I'm building my network,
Right.
my clientele,
Right.
and you ran it like a business.
Yeah.
It's like basically what you're doing now. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what you're doing now.
And it's crazy because, like, it's crazy. We don't have the space. We don't have the opportunity to really, like, enhance our gifts that we have, because I believe I had a gift of being a salesman. Being a salesman is not selling a product. You're selling you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
your brand.
It's you. So, like, I learned early when I was a teenager that, whenever you are in business, people don't buy your product. They buy the person. So, because
if there's like 5 crack dealers in a neighborhood,
right,
and the let's say the crackhead, that's what it is. The crackhead might want to work with you, wanting to give you their money more,
right,
because you treat them better,
right,
or you give them a little bit of extra,
or they just like you as a person.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you cool.
Yeah.
And you don't see them as an addicted person. You just see them as a person. And people want to be seen. They like, people used to always tell me that, like, man, you a cool guy. I had it's crazy. I had this one guy. I used to go play chess with him.
Yeah.
I was selling drugs, but we would actually hang out, play chess, talk. He was in a war. He would tell me all these war stories, and I would listen to him. And so we developed, like, it's as crazy as it is, right? He was like my dad almost.
Yeah.
Like, he was like,
your
man,
mentor.
You my son. I was like 16. I'm like, yeah. I just call him Pops. I'm like, yeah, Pops, it's all good.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Man, so rest in peace. He died of COVID in 2018. One of my buddies, like, developed the same relationship with him. And he used to tell me, like, man, like, I'm in your position right now. And I just be like, well, I introduce you to him. He's like, nah, but he always talk about you, like, how you a good guy. And I'm like, yeah, that's my Pops, man.
Yeah.
But that's the relationships you develop with people.
What is your thoughts on like, drug people that suffer from, like, drug addictions? I would say drug addiction, or they're addicts. I feel like you had compassion for some of them.
I think it's two-sided, right? Like, people that are addicted to drugs, it's a sickness. It's not. Think about it. Who the hell wants to just say, hey, I'm going to be homeless and live in a cardboard box and smoke drugs? Like, nah, it's biologically, it's something in their brain that keeps them in a loop and they can't get out of it. And I think as a teenager, it was more of like, I couldn't get out of it because I was addicted to the money. So it's like, I'm 17 years old, and you tell me go make $7 an hour minimum wage. It's like, no, I just made $1,000 last night. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So it's two sides of drug addiction. It's the sales and the abuse. And it's hard to walk away from when you don't know another alternative.
Yeah.
And once you, like, at that age, when I'm 17, it's like, once you get too deeply involved, I mean, the only thing that's going to get you out is prison. Yeah, it's like, some people get lucky. It's like 1% people just stop. But the money is addictive too. The lifestyle is addictive.
The lifestyle,
the
money.
It's a real addiction.
The recognition, the praise.
Absolutely.
The all the extra things that fuel the ego, all that stuff.
Right.
It's very addicting. And remember, we just study that the criminality is an addiction, criminal behavior.
Super.
Yeah, and it's so true. It's not just drugs and alcohol. It's criminal behavior could be addicted.
Yeah, you always gonna be in recovery for the rest of your, like, I will always be in recovery for the rest of my life because I'm aware of that. So I can never just be like, oh, I don't have a criminal thought. That's crazy. I always want to slap the shit out of somebody, but I don't do it. But
that's so true.
Yeah,
I swear it's so true. Yeah, but that's like, you can contain it.
Absolutely.
And that's the true. I feel like that's actually a very powerful thing to have. Is like, because you can contain it, these feelings, but then also generate it in other things, right? Channel it because you're in control of it.
Absolutely. Just being aware.
Yeah.
I mean, I might walk in the bank and might look around and be like, man, they got cameras everywhere. I mean, that's just like, the internal things that I
Right.
used to notice, you know, like you just not notice them. I'm not saying I want to rob the bank, but I'm just, those are things that criminals notice, right? You know,
Yeah.
I can spot danger in public places that many people can't spot. You
Yeah.
know, I've been was somewhere with my mom, and I'm like, come on, let's go over here. She like, wow. I said, look, they getting into it.
Yeah.
She like, how did you see that?
Yeah.
Because I'm always looking for danger.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the car. I was in the car and I was just sitting in there, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and there's like a guy opened his door and got out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm
what?
like, and I literally like, I went into this state of like different from myself, right? But you know, he just got out and he like went up to his windshield and pulled something off. But the way he got out was so like, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's getting out for me. So like you know, you get into that moment. Like, you ever had that? And like,
what? Man, I was in the car. This is when I first came home. I'm going to work. It's bumper to bumper traffic, because I used to work the swing shift.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 o'clock. Traffic is bumper to bumper. A guy swings his door open, gets out his car, walks towards me. But he's walking towards his trunk. Yeah. And he's walking to his trunk, though. But I don't know this. I'm thinking he walking towards me. Man, my heart fell out my ass. I'm like, this is it. I thought it was over. But like I say, that's the criminal side of you, that you see life so different than somebody else. You know, a normal person would have been like, what's this guy doing? But me, I was scared to death because I thought he was about to get out that car and blow my brains out. Yeah. But that's the trauma that comes with the lifestyle.
Yeah. How do you want to be remembered?
Oh, man.
When it's all said and done.
Man, I just want to be remembered for being a star in my role, whether that was a good son, you know, a good brother, a good friend, you know, whatever role I'm required to be, man, I just want to be known for being the best version in that role, you know? Yeah.
And what are some big goals you have for your future you want to accomplish, like some big dreams?
I'm trying to retire at 60.
Okay.
So like that's like in the next, I'm 40 right now. So in the next 20 years, I'm trying to be like, man, I'm on a yacht, drinking pina colada, all that, like just retired, like just having fun, man, just traveling. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, not a yacht, but you know what I mean, man. Just, you know, why not dream big, man?
Dream big,
not,
man.
You know?
Dream big. And honestly, like you said it earlier, you know, you when we were walking to the studio here, you were like, man, you could have never imagined this, right? And it's so true. Like in prison and even first getting out, and even once I'm out, you just really don't know what's possible, right?
You don't.
And so now that I've like been in the world and I've like learned a lot, and I've encountered many other people and I've learned from them, like I'm so much more just like confident, and it's almost like I know, I could guarantee that you will accomplish all of that, everything.
Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even a question. And now I understand when other people say that to me. Right. Like they've said that to me, like, and they've invested in me.
I'll tell you that.
But I didn't really connect to that. I didn't really feel that. It was almost like, oh, now it's more pressure on me. Yeah. But I think it's because like we're very hard on ourselves. Yeah. So when I see where you're at now, where you're growing with your business, I'm like, I guarantee it's going to happen. It's like, I just know it. And it's like this, it's just like a feeling of like, almost like if you won the lottery, right? And you got the winning ticket and you're like, you already know you won. You're just waiting to cash out. Right. You know, it's like, that's a good analogy. Yeah. That's how like I approach life now. And a lot of things manifest because of that. Yeah. And I see that in you and everything you're doing, man. It's pretty remarkable. Man,
appreciate that. Man. Appreciate it.
It's like, it's crazy, and and it's very inspirational for everybody out there that's literally starting from nothing. Yeah, you're at where you're at.
Yeah, I think people got to change their concept too. Like, if you want to be like financially stable, you can't see money as you used to see it. You know? Money isn't just, oh, I'm finna save some money and be okay. Like, nah, you can save $100,000 in 6 months from now. It's only gonna be worth $75,000. So you done lost $25,000 of hard cash because you didn't know what to do with it. So like, people gotta, I see real money as like debt. Like, how is debt real money? Well, you got to make debt make money for you. And debt is always to be refinanced and doubled. So you get debt, you refinance it, you add more to it. If you add more to it, that means you're making more money. You know? So that's the goal.
It's so true. Well, before we go, I like to end with some rapid fire questions.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Just things that are completely off topic and just out of the normal, because you know, just I think that it's interesting, and I like to know about like just what, you know, people, what regular stuff they're into or like or whatever. So I got a few for you that I'm not sure of. This is what I've been wanting to ask you.
Okay.
All right. The first one is, what is your favorite food?
Oh man, that's unfair. But my favorite food. I love Mexican cuisine. That's like my favorite, man. Yeah. I can always go for some real Mexican tacos. Yeah. Enchiladas. Man, I love it, man. It's the best. You know, we in the capital of real Mexican food, man. You know, people in other states don't get to eat what we eat.
No, I know. I went to a tacos on the street last night.
Bomb.
The best.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. It doesn't compare.
It doesn't compare, man. But cool. What else?
Okay. What is your biggest fear?
Shit, my biggest fear is not living up to my greatest potential. Like that scares the shit out of me. Like, damn. Yeah. What if I never reach where I believe I can?
Yeah. You know? Yeah. Biggest struggle that you had since you've been out of prison?
Biggest struggle I had,
like internally, like for you know, that you've dealt with.
One of the biggest struggles is staying connected to people, because I'm always in my own world. Like my mom be like, man, I want to talk to you about something, but I know you be so busy. And I be like, damn, I don't want them to feel like, you know, they can't come to me like I'm just greater than, nah, what happened? You know, so just being able to stay connected and not seem so important, you know, like, you can talk to me, what's going on, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a cold balance.
Yeah. And then just, you know, how can people get in contact with you in your work? I mean, you're doing amazing work, man. You're always working in some way. You were asking the guy downstairs about how you can bring your business to them and provide your services to them. And that's how you have to be. You're always, you know, looking for that opportunity. So how can people connect with you and find you?
So you can connect with me at my social media presence. I'm on community first _ power washing. That's my business page. My personal page is Travon _ Harris 123. And you can also go to my website, which is www.communityfirstpowerwashing.com. You can leave a message, and if you have any inquiries about, you know, my services, you know, I'll respond. Yeah, just social media, website, you know, things like that to get in contact with me. You can also see a lot of demonstrations I do on my social media, man. So if you don't believe in the work, go look at it.
That's perfect. Yeah. It's like you're showcasing everything. Like it's so
wins,
smart.
The losses, everything.
Yeah, and a final message for the men or women that are in prison right now that are listening to this, because we're going to have these in all the prisons in the United States, these episodes. Right. So they'll be on Edovo. It's almost, I think, 900,000 people. Yeah, we'll have access to it. And
so many people in prison. Huh?
Yeah, and so what would be your message to them that, you know, because they're going to be inspired by you, regardless of whatever, because of your story and you were there where they are now. Right. What would be your message to them, your advice?
I just think, you know, not to let the circumstances change who you are, your true self, you know. I think prison can be a wonderful place if you let it, you know what I mean? It can also, you know, it can bring the worst out of you, or it can bring the best out of you. You know, it's really your choice. So make sure it brings the best out of you. You know, while you're in there, you know, read as much books as you can, because, you know, books grows your perspective. It grows your view of the world, to say, because when you have a limited view of the world, you really can't imagine. And the lack of imagination leads to human decay, because if you can't imagine yourself one way, if you can't see your life another way, you know, then you will deteriorate. So just keep your imagination expanding, because the more you imagine, the more you will be equipped to develop a better sense of yourself and who you can be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well said. Thank you, Travon.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I just wanted to say thank you for listening all the way to the end of the episode. I wanted to just give a quick shout out to the sponsors for this podcast in terms of like them allowing us to use their space at Legendary Foods, at the Legendary Studios. Want to give a shout out to them for that. They're an amazing product. Also, want to say that if you're interested in a free PDF version of my book, Warrior in the Garden: 7 Rules for Men, there'll be a link in the description that you can click to get that, as well as to sign up for our weekly newsletter. And I'm always giving new advice and new guidance to help you get through life's challenges, and always keeping you up to date on the new things that we're doing, How to Battle and my company. And so I just want to say thank you for being here and listening, and please remember to subscribe.